Hello and good evening, YouTube. I hope everyone's having a good Monday. And if you're in some location where you're gonna have to deal with the weather, please be safe. Please run to your basement or secure room. Better safe than sorry. It sounds like it's gonna get really bad out there over the next week, and a lot of people are going to be affected. So I just wanted to check in and follow up with part 2 of Unchosen on Netflix. I finished episodes 4 through 6, and I still have a positive review. It was good. It kept me interested. I felt like, wow, a lot happened once you got into episode 3. So let's get into it. By the way, I want to say that Grace, Rosie, and Adam started. That's another observation that I noticed. I feel like Adam is very cruel to Rosie, but I think it's because they only have one child and they never get in the specifics of why they have one child. But there obviously must be some fertility issue either way, because Grace is their only child and Adam seems to be passively aggressively cruel to Rosie about that, amongst many other slights or things he sees as slights. Um, so let's get into it. So by episode 3, Rosie has refuge in the arms of Sam, the handsome stranger, the handsome, mysterious stranger, and they begin to sneak away for a moment whenever they can. And they, during their physical relationship, Rosie lets him know that she does want to leave um, the sect, and they start discussing ways of how they can do it, how it's going to happen. And one encounter that they have, Sam sneaks Rosie some documents involving Mrs. Phillips. So their son has been excommunicated from the fellowship for being in a same-sex relationship. And when that happens, that means you cannot have any correspondence, communication with a person that's been excommunicated. So that's a major no-no. And in everything that's happened in Rosie's attempt to get out, she's going to do and utilize anything she can to get away. So she ends up actually blackmailing Mrs. Phillips, and anything that she needs for her to do, she's going to do, because if Mr. Phillips finds out that Mrs. Phillips is communicating with him, that would be a major no-no. Um, Adam, in his mission to be elevated within the group, one night he has to give the last rites to someone slash help in someone's life, and he's not able to do it. But while he's doing that, Rosie and Sam sneak away and have dinner and further discuss their plan about how they're going to escape. And while Rosie's in the bathroom, it's a really sweet moment. She sees a woman putting on her lipstick, and Rosie just keeps looking, and she asks the woman if she can have some lipstick. And the woman kind of looks like, no. And then she eventually lets her apply the lipstick, and the woman gives her a satisfying smile, like, oh, like, looks good on you. And it's just a sweet moment, like, just realizing how much Rosie has not gotten to experience in life. But that's just sidebar. Well, then as dinner goes on, Sam begins to get nervous and realizes, like, I'm out in public. What if somebody sees me? And he kind of barks at, well, he doesn't kind of, he does. He barks at Rosie, and he immediately makes her leave the restaurant, and they leave. And then when they come back, he drops Rosie off. You see, this episode 4 had a lot going on. But again, I feel like they had to just tie the ending together. So Sam is by the fire, and Adam comes up to him, and they're discussing all the things that are going on. And Adam talks about pretty much like how his insecurities as a man, and Sam plays into his emotions, and they eventually have an encounter. I'm not going to get into details, but they do have an encounter. And then Sam is actually recording the encounter. And then that's what solidified it for me that Sam is here to manipulate and get people to do whatever he wants. He's not this mysterious, handsome guy who's just been dealt these really crappy hand. He's here and he's up to no good. But Adam is not aware that the encounter has been recorded. Then eventually the cops do come looking for Sam, and they hide him. Sam and Rosie work together to hide Sam so the cops can't find him, and they do warn them that he's a very dangerous man. But again, Sam manipulates them and tells them, that he's a man with a past and he's just trying to get a fresh start, blah, 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 blah. So then fast forward, Isaac, Adam's brother, comes back again, and he's trying to warn, another warning. Hey, this is not who you think it is. You do not want him like amongst everyone. Please don't ignore this. Like, I'm warning you. So then there's another altercation, and Isaac is trying to escape, and Sam is following Isaac with Mr. Phillips in the car, and he ends up striking Isaac's vehicle and flipping it and killing Isaac. And to cover himself, he actually puts Mr. Phillips in the driver's seat, and Mr. Phillips is arrested because he's always intoxicated. So it's easy to deduce that he manipulated the situation so Mr. Phillips would get in trouble. And I don't think at the time thinking it, but, further elevating himself within the fellowship. So Mr. Phillips is released, and he's sulking and having, like, I don't remember what happened, but of course you wouldn't remember what happened because you were wasted. So fast forward to the funeral, and Isaac's wife, Hannah, and the woman that he left his family for actually meet face to face, the mistress, and they never say her name, but she shows up at the funeral to drop off some handwritten letters that Isaac had written for the children. It's very cordial. I was surprised like how well she was handling the situation, as you think. And then at the end of the funeral, or towards the end of the service, you see Hannah try to hit the woman with the car, and it just has a huge emotional breakdown. And then in that instance where everyone's rushing and all the excitement, Mr. Phillips has a flashback and realizes that he didn't hit Isaac with his car. It's not in his head. Sam did set him up. So later that night, Sam kidnaps Mr. Phillips and plans. I'm assuming he didn't really have a plan from how frazzled he was, but was trying to figure, I'm assuming he was going to kill him. Well, Mr. Phillip gets away, and then Sam tracks him down, and they end up in a scuffle, and Sam is choking Mr. Phillips. And Grace, Rosie and Adam's daughter, sees it, and he threatens her, like, don't tell what you saw. And the other gentlemen within the fellowship end up interrupting the fight, and he ends up just saying, he's crazy, which you would think that's true if you've just been arrested for killing someone in an accident, that you're intoxicated. So again, Mr. Phillips ends up in isolation. Well, we get to the point that Adam and Rosie realize like they're in too deep, and Rosie does eventually confess to Adam about the physical relationship between her and Sam, and her plan to leave, and her plan to take Grace with her. And surprisingly, Adam is receptive to this. He doesn't strike her. He doesn't have a visceral reaction at all. And they just discuss, the plan and how he can help her get away. And they decide that they're going to do it. Let me backtrack though. I did forget one part. The reason why Rosie is utterly afraid of Sam at this point is because Sam's brother comes to live with them for a short period of time, but it's not long, and he's not a pivotal character in the story. But Rosie does try to go through his phone to search Sam to see what really happened and the reason he was in jail. But he catches her and just gives her a spiel about that his brother is a good guy and he can be trusted. But she ends up going to a phone store, and when she's trying to search through the display phones, the saleswoman lets her use her phone, and she searches and she realizes that Sam did kill his girlfriend when he was 16 when she was trying to break up with him. And then he went on to kill her cousin while in prison. So that sets the tone that she's like, okay, he can't be trusted. I'm scared. So now we're at the point where Adam is going to help his wife and his daughter get away, or maybe they're all going to get away. They don't really clarify that part. But while they're trying to escape, Sam catches them and he tries to drown Rosie. And she plays on his emotions, and she does tell him, if you love me, you would let me go. And he realizes he's getting ready to kill Rosie like he killed his girlfriend, because he drowned her as well. So he ends up letting her go. And then you see Rosie and Grace walking to a house, and they open the door, and pleasantly surprised, they're at the doorstep of Miss Phillips' son's house. And Miss Phillips is there because she ended up leaving as well. So from all, or obviously, they're going to get their fresh start together. Adam, we really don't know what happens. I'm assuming that he's not going to be in leadership, obviously. But the biggest takeaway from this, or the biggest like shock, was you see a man walk into the fellowship's worship hall, and it's Sam. So Sam has become the group's leader. He has killed Isaac. Adam, we don't know. So I'm assuming he's either in isolation or he has a less pivotal role than what he had before. And Sam is the leader. So it was very good. It's very well written. I feel like, obviously, I don't think this is a real story or based on a true story. I think there's facets from all the things that happen between the abuse and, the relationships and the extramarital affairs. Obviously, those things do happen. My takeaway is I love that Rosie gets everything that she wanted. She wanted to get away from her religious sect. She wanted to have her daughter, and she wanted a fresh start, and she got that. And yeah, it was a good watch. So if you watch it, I hope you enjoy it. And again, have a good night.